Hey everyone, welcome to Descomplica Brazil.
We're Lucas and Mia. Come hang out with us and discover Brazil one conversation at a time.
And today, we're starting with a big question. What do people actually think Brazil is like before they come here?
Oh, that's a dangerous question.
Why?
Because I think some people have a very interesting picture of Brazil in their heads.
Interesting is a nice way to say it.
Okay, maybe a little strange.
I mean, if everything you know about Brazil comes from movies, you might think we all live next to the Amazon rainforest, play soccer every afternoon, go to the beach every weekend, and speak Spanish.
Oh, the Spanish thing.
I knew you'd bring that up.
Because it's one of my favorites. Someone says hola, and the Brazilian just smiles.
That little smile says everything.
It's like, I understand what you're saying, but we don't speak Spanish.
We speak Portuguese.
Brazilian Portuguese. And yes, it can sound very musical, especially depending on where you're from.
And we have so many expressions and slang words that even another Portuguese speaker can sometimes get confused.
That's true. You can travel inside Brazil and hear people speaking Portuguese, but the accent, the rhythm, and even some words can change.
Which is actually one of the first things people need to understand about Brazil. It's huge.
Really huge.
And I don't think people outside Brazil always realize how huge it is.
I agree. Sometimes people imagine Brazil as one big tropical place where everything is basically the same.
Beaches everywhere, sunshine everywhere, everyone dancing, everyone playing soccer.
And everyone drinking coconut water.
Okay, now you're making Brazil sound pretty good.
I'm not saying it's a bad place.
Fair enough.
But Brazil is much more complicated than that. We have different regions, different climates, different food, different accents, and very different ways of life.
You can go from one part of Brazil to another and feel like you've entered a completely different country.
Exactly. And that's one of the things I love about Brazil.
Same here. And I think that's what makes it difficult to explain Brazil to someone who's never been here.
Because where do you even start?
You could start with the weather,
Or food?
or music,
Or people?
or soccer.
You had to mention soccer.
Of course I did.
See? Now we're already confirming the stereotype.
That's the problem. We can't talk about Brazil for 5 minutes without talking about soccer.
But that's also part of the fun. Some stereotypes exist for a reason.
That's true. Brazilians really do love soccer.
Many Brazilians do.
Okay, Mia, I see what you're doing.
What?
You're already trying to destroy my generalizations.
Someone has to.
Fair.
But that's exactly what I want this podcast to do. We don't want to give you a perfect postcard version of Brazil.
No beaches with perfect sunsets every 5 minutes?
Not every 5 minutes.
No one playing soccer on the beach at all times?
Definitely not.
No Brazilian waking up at 6 a.m. and immediately dancing samba?
Please stop.
I'm just helping.
You're making our country sound like a very strange musical.
Maybe that's what people imagine.
And that's why we're here, because the real Brazil is much more interesting than the movie version.
It's big, complicated, funny, loud, quiet, modern, traditional, tropical, urban.
And sometimes all of those things on the same day.
That's actually a good description.
Think about a normal Brazilian city. You can have a modern shopping mall, a small family bakery, a huge apartment building, a street market, a football game on TV, and a little cafe all within the same neighborhood.
And someone is probably offering you coffee.
Definitely.
Or food.
Definitely food.
That's one thing I think visitors notice pretty quickly. Brazilians really like offering food.
Yes, you visit someone's house and they say, "Do you want some coffee?"
You say no.
And they say, "Are you sure?"
You say yes.
Then 5 minutes later, there's coffee in front of you.
And maybe a piece of cake.
And if you stay long enough, probably something else too.
It's difficult to leave someone's house hungry in Brazil.
That's a pretty good survival tip.
So maybe we should start there. If you're coming to Brazil, don't just pack your suitcase.
Pack an appetite.
And maybe a little curiosity.
Definitely curiosity, because if you come to Brazil expecting the Brazil you've seen in movies, you're probably going to be surprised.
And honestly, that's a good thing.
It really is, because once you look beyond the beaches, the soccer, and the carnival, you start to see just how many different Brazils there are, and I think that's where we should start.
So where do we start? Maybe with the biggest surprise of all. Brazil isn't just one kind of place.
Right, and I think the easiest way to understand that is to look at the map.
Because Brazil is enormous.
Really enormous. It's one of those things that sounds like a simple fact until you actually look at the distances.
Someone can tell you, I'm going to Brazil next month, and you might imagine they have a pretty clear idea of what they're going to see.
But where in Brazil?
Exactly.
That's like saying I'm going to Europe.
And then asking, nice, are you going to Norway or Italy?
Very different trips.
Brazil is like that. A lot of people imagine the country as one giant tropical destination, but that's not really how it works.
You can have hot weather in one place, cooler weather somewhere else, dry landscapes in one region, tropical forests in another, huge cities, small towns, mountains, beaches, rivers.
And a lot of different food.
You were waiting for that one.
I was.
Of course you were.
But food is actually a great way to understand Brazil. What people eat can tell you a lot about where they come from.
Absolutely. The food in the Northeast isn't exactly the same as the food in the South.
And the way people talk isn't the same either.
That's something foreigners sometimes don't expect. They learn a little Brazilian Portuguese, come here, and suddenly realize, wait a minute, why does everyone sound different?
Imagine studying Portuguese for months and then meeting someone from a completely different part of Brazil.
You might understand every word and still think, I need subtitles.
I've had that experience myself.
Really?
Yes, sometimes someone speaks with such a strong regional accent that I need a few seconds to adjust.
And that's the funny thing. It's still Portuguese. We're all speaking the same language, but the rhythm, pronunciation, and expressions can change a lot.
Which brings us back to something we mentioned earlier. Brazil doesn't have one single personality.
Exactly.
And I think the same thing happens with Brazilian people. There's a stereotype that Brazilians are always outgoing, always smiling, always talking to strangers.
Some of us are,
Some of us really are.
but not everyone.
Thank you.
Why are you thanking me?
Because every time someone says Brazilians are so friendly, I think, well, most of us are friendly, but give me a quiet afternoon.
That's true. Brazilian friendliness doesn't mean every Brazilian wants to have a conversation with everyone all day.
Some people are very social, some people are shy, some people love big parties, some people would rather stay home watching a movie.
Just like anywhere else.
Exactly. But there is something interesting about the way we interact with people.
I think we're generally pretty comfortable with informal conversation.
Yes, you can meet someone for the first time and very quickly start talking about things that feel personal.
Like family.
Or work.
Or food.
Or your love life.
Okay, maybe we don't need to go that far with everyone.
But sometimes it happens.
It does.
And that can be surprising for someone from a culture where people keep more distance when they first meet.
Even the way we greet people can feel different.
Oh, yes.
A handshake, a hug, a kiss on the cheek, it can depend on the person, the situation, and even where you're from in Brazil.
Which means a visitor can have a very confusing first 5 minutes.
Especially if they don't know what to do.
Do I shake hands? Do I hug? One kiss? Two?
My advice is simple.
What is it?
Let the Brazilian lead.
That's actually very good advice.
Because if you're unsure, just follow the other person's lead.
And don't panic.
Definitely don't panic.
Unless you accidentally go for a hug when the other person is going for a handshake.
Oh no.
Then you've entered a completely different level of social confusion.
We've all been there.
And that's one of the things I think makes cultural differences so interesting. Something that feels completely normal to us can feel unusual to someone else.
And the opposite is true too.
Definitely.
There are things foreigners do that seem completely normal to them, but Brazilians look at them and think, wait, you do what?
Which is exactly why traveling is so interesting. You start noticing your own habits.
Yes, you don't realize how Brazilian something is until someone from another country looks at you and says, why do you do that?
And suddenly you're questioning your entire life.
I don't know. We just do.
That's probably one of the best answers when you're learning about another culture.
Because not everything has a logical explanation.
Sometimes it's just tradition.
Or habit.
Or because your mother did it and then you did it too.
That's very Brazilian.
And we're only getting started, Because once you get into everyday Brazilian life, there are so many little things that start to stand out.
Like what people eat for lunch.
Oh, now we're getting into serious territory.
Very serious territory.
Because if there's one thing that can tell you a lot about Brazilian daily life, it's what's on the plate at lunchtime.
And I have a feeling we're going to disagree about this one.
Okay, let's talk about lunch.
I knew you were going to say that.
Because lunch is important.
Very important.
In Brazil, lunch isn't always something you grab quickly between two meetings.
Right. For a lot of Brazilians, lunch is a real meal.
You sit down, you get your food, and hopefully you have some time to enjoy it.
And the classic Brazilian lunch has to be mentioned.
Rice and beans.
Rice and beans.
You can't talk about Brazilian food without talking about rice and beans.
It's such a normal combination for us that we sometimes forget how important it is.
You can eat it at home, at a restaurant, at a small neighborhood place, or at a work cafeteria.
And there are so many different versions depending on the region and the family.
That's the thing about Brazilian food. We have some dishes that almost everyone knows, but every family has its own way of preparing things.
Even something simple like beans.
Exactly. One person likes the beans thicker, someone else likes more broth.
Someone puts different spices in it.
And someone will always say, my mother's beans are better.
That's not even an opinion, that's a fact in every Brazilian family.
And don't even try to argue with them.
You will lose.
Immediately.
Immediately. But I think lunch tells us something bigger about Brazil.
What's that?
Food isn't only about eating, it's also about spending time together.
That's true.
Think about a family lunch on a Sunday.
Now you're making me hungry.
I'm serious. People get together, someone is cooking, someone is setting the table, there's music playing, people are talking.
And one person is always saying, eat more.
Always.
You're already full.
Have some more.
You say no,
Just a little.
and somehow there's another spoonful on your plate.
Exactly.
That's hospitality.
It really is. Food is one of the ways Brazilians show affection.
And coffee.
You really can't leave coffee out.
Never.
A Brazilian coffee can be tiny, strong, sweet, or served in a little cup depending on where you are and what you're used to.
And people can drink it at almost any time.
Morning, after lunch, during a conversation, at work,
When a friend comes over,
when someone needs a break.
when someone says, let's have a coffee, it doesn't always mean coffee.
That's actually true.
It can mean, let's sit down and talk.
Or come over.
Or, I haven't seen you in a while.
Or sometimes it really does mean coffee.
That's an important distinction.
It is.
But there's another thing foreigners might notice when they spend time in Brazil.
What?
We can be very informal.
Definitely.
In some situations, people use first names very quickly.
And nicknames.
Oh, nicknames.
Brazilians love nicknames.
You can meet someone named Carlos and discover that everyone calls him Carlone.
Or someone named Fernanda becomes Faye.
And sometimes the nickname has absolutely nothing to do with the person's real name.
That's when it gets interesting.
A person can be called something because of their personality, appearance, a childhood story, or one random thing they did 10 years ago.
And the nickname just stays.
Forever.
Forever.
Imagine being a foreigner and meeting a group of Brazilians.
You ask, what's his name?
And they say, oh, that's Gordo.
And you're thinking, wait, is that actually his name?
No, it's just what everyone calls him.
And you probably shouldn't start using the nickname immediately.
Very important advice.
Let the group show you what's okay.
That's a good rule for a lot of Brazilian social situations, actually.
Watch first, then join in.
Because we can be very informal, but context matters.
Exactly. The way you talk to a close friend isn't necessarily the way you talk to someone at work.
Although, even at work, Brazilian culture can sometimes feel more personal than people expect.
Yes, people might ask about your family, your weekend, or what you did after work.
And then 5 minutes later, you're talking about someone's vacation.
Or someone's barbecue.
Or someone's dog.
The dog always gets mentioned.
Always.
And I think that's another part of what makes Brazil difficult to summarize.
Because the country isn't just about big things like Carnival or the Amazon.
It's also about these tiny everyday moments.
The coffee.
The lunch.
The conversation.
The way someone invites you into their home.
The way people turn a quick visit into a 2-hour conversation.
Exactly.
And maybe that's something a movie can't really show you.
It can show you a beautiful beach.
It can show you carnival.
It can show you soccer.
It doesn't always show you what an ordinary Tuesday feels like,
And honestly, that's where you start to understand a country.
not just through the famous places.
But through ordinary life.
Which makes me think about another big Brazilian stereotype,
Which one?
that every Brazilian is naturally relaxed and knows how to enjoy life.
That's a dangerous one.
Why?
Because I think we're going to have to talk about work, traffic, stress, and the very complicated relationship Brazilians have with time.
Okay, so let's talk about time,
I knew you were going to bring that up.
because it's another thing people notice when they spend time in Brazil.
And it's a little complicated.
Very complicated.
There's a stereotype that Brazilians are always late.
And you're going to tell me that's not true.
I'm gonna say it's not that simple.
That's the Brazilian answer.
It is, because being late can mean different things depending on the situation.
If you have a doctor's appointment, you probably don't want to arrive 30 minutes late.
Definitely not.
But if a friend invites you to a casual dinner at 8, arriving exactly at 8 might actually be early.
Sometimes.
That's what I'm talking about.
But this isn't true for everyone, and it changes depending on the person, the city, and the situation.
So if you're visiting Brazil, don't build your entire schedule around stereotypes.
That's probably good advice for everything we've talked about today.
True,
Because Brazil isn't one giant personality.
it's millions of people with different personalities, different backgrounds, different routines, and different ways of seeing the world.
And that's probably the biggest thing I want people to understand from this episode.
Brazil is not just carnival.
It's not just soccer.
It's not just beaches.
It's not just the Amazon.
And we definitely don't all know how to dance samba.
Speak for yourself.
Mia?
I'm just saying.
Okay, maybe you can dance samba.
Maybe.
Now I'm curious.
That's a conversation for another episode.
Fine, I'll remember that.
But seriously, I think stereotypes can be fun when we understand that they're only part of the picture.
Right, if someone thinks Brazil has beautiful beaches, they're not wrong.
If they think Brazilians love soccer, they're not completely wrong either.
If they think Brazilian food is amazing, that's definitely not wrong.
Now you're finally getting it.
But if they think every Brazilian lives near a beach, speaks Spanish, plays soccer every afternoon, and spends the entire year preparing for carnival,
Then we have some explaining to do.
and that's exactly why we made this podcast.
We want to show you the Brazil behind the postcard.
The ordinary Brazil,
The funny Brazil.
the complicated Brazil.
The Brazil you discover when you actually talk to people and spend time here.
And we're going to have plenty of time for that.
We are.
We're going to talk about food, music, cities, family, travel, everyday habits, expressions, and all those little things that make Brazil feel like Brazil.
And sometimes we're probably going to disagree.
Probably.
Okay, definitely.
Okay, good. I don't want us agreeing about everything.
Neither do I. That would be boring.
So, if you're listening from outside Brazil, here's a question for you.
What was the first thing you thought about when you heard the word Brazil?
Was it soccer?
The beach?
Carnival?
The Amazon?
Or maybe something completely different?
Tell us in the comments. We'd really love to know what Brazil looks like from your side of the world.
And if you're Brazilian, tell us too. What did we forget?
Because there's always something we forget.
That's one thing I already know about Brazil. You can talk about it for hours and still have another story.
That's probably why we're going to be here for a long time.
I'm okay with that.
Me too.
And if you enjoyed hanging out with us, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.
We'll have a lot more conversations about Brazil, and hopefully we'll surprise you a few more times.
Thanks for spending some time with us.
And remember, this was just the beginning. There are a lot more stories behind the Brazil you think you know.
See you next time.
Take care, everyone, and we'll see you in the next episode.